horrible thing happened to you. I just want you to be able to move on with your life.
Come here.
It's coming up on a year. I have something that's planned, and I need a partner in crime. The B67 TV tower.
I haven't climbed since...
Becky, if you don't confront your fears, you are always going to be afraid.
Let's do it. Let's climb your stupid tower.
I'm so excited!
Tell you again.
Hey guys! Hi!
I was really ripped.
You're awesome! That is the Becky that we need for this trip.
This is sick.
Damn it, Hunter. What are you getting us into?
Okay, so just stay behind me, one rung at a time. See? It's easy! You're doing great! Becky, you gotta come up here. Hey, trust me. What was that? Oh my God!
Hunter, how do we get down? I don't have a signal.
Our water is down there in that bag.
We have 50 feet of rope. I think I can drop myself lower. Okay, I'm gonna jump onto the bag. Hunter, no! Hunter!
Every hour that passes, the weaker we get.
If anyone called 911, they'd be here by now.
What is it that Dan used to say?
If you're scared of dying, don't be afraid to live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Breeze. Breezeway Productions' The Breeze, where we bring you the latest in independent films and film festival news. And we are happy to have filmmaker Scott Mann here with us today to talk about the new upcoming film, Fall. How are you, Scott?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to talking about the film. So tell us a little about Fall.
Well, Fall is about two young women, Becky and Hunter. And after the death of Becky's husband, they decide to go on a crazy adventure of climbing up a 2,000-foot tower to get over a fear of heights, ironically. And obviously, things don't go quite as planned.
Yeah, I definitely was able to check out the film, and it was a stress-ridden ride. I think it is the definition of anxiety. Definitely a thriller and the edge of your seat style and vibe to it. Where did you come up with this concept for the crazy climber girls?
Yeah, well, really, it was started with looking at the fear of heights and the fear of falling, and looking at that as a kind of cinematically as what drives that, why do we feel that way, and as a central element, doing a film that focuses just on that really and plays the other notes of it. So it was really to hone a film around that idea and why we get the fear of falling and what that is all about, and it led us into kind of a place of looking at people who do this for thrill-seeking purposes, but also but then when you kind of pull back from the edge of that, also just people, just regular climbers. Why do we climb, and why do we try and like live life and whatnot? And it got us in just this really interesting space of living life and death, and these kind of themes that we played with. And we just wanted to, I guess, play in that sandbox, but the big other component really was I really wanted to do something that really used the cinematic experience properly, that really kind of put you there, and it felt like a good way of doing it for cinema, basically, and really kind of using cinema's tools to take people on. I looked at it like a theme park ride more than I did a film, if I'm being honest, and like obviously there are kind of components that fit into it, but I really want it to be an experience that you felt all the way through, whether it's the story motion or the excitement or all these things. Like the feeling was what I was trying to get through.
I felt it. And I think anybody that does go to check it out will feel it as well. It is an experience like no other. I can't even think of a film that it reminded me of that gave me that much tension while watching it. Certainly, I haven't seen one like that in a long time. So I enjoyed the thrill ride. Let's talk about the tower. Very interesting place. Is it real? Is it fake?
Location. Yeah, I think that's true. Like John and I were kind of throwing this idea around. We're like, okay, where's the ultimate place to do this? And as a kind of story, where to get stuck. And we kind of played around with the idea of construction cranes and things. And I heard a story from someone actually recently that they climbed up the construction crane and they almost fell in a very similar scenario. It sounded horrible. But we looked at all these different things, and we came across these towers, these real towers that are throughout the United States, and they're basically slung up in the middle of the desert, just these needles of structure with the guy lines, making sure that they actually stay upright, and they kind of bounce TV and radio signals around the US, and obviously a little less nowadays given what we have with technology, but they were used principally to kind of move signal around, and they're just literally in the middle of nowhere, and the only thing on them is this little light at the top to show aircraft that they're around. So we came across these incredible structures, and we're just like, holy shit, this is that would be the ultimate place to get trapped. And so that's what kind of started it. And we really took a deep dive into kind of the actual towers, and we saw some great documentary footage that was done of someone going up and changing the light bulb, and some of the guys who work on the towers, and we met them. And they got involved in building our tower. Actually, the same people who built the tower that in Arizona that's based on are the same guys who built our tower for our movie. So very real towers, and a very real thing.
Yeah, you reflect on using the tools of cinema in order to create this film. And I was reading that it was Variety or Deadline. They published an article about what was going on with the deepfake technology that was used to edit that around. Do you want to reflect on what you used in that tool?
Yeah, for that. Well, that was at the very end of the process, and that really was a case of having we showed the movie to Lionsgate. Like, it was an independent movie, right? So we'd made the film, showed it to Lionsgate, and what they loved about it, and I guess as filmmakers, we'd all kind of came to the same conclusion, is the thrill of the climb and the height horror and everything inside of it is very much what the film is all about, and the experience and the ride it takes you on. But just because we ended up filming so much of this thing for real, and there was levels of improvisation and whatnot, the girls had released quite a lot of F-bombs throughout the script. I think I probably had F-bombs in the script, but I definitely didn't have as many that ended up in the film. And really it became this discussion about how do you release a film like this, which is really kind of, its core audience is a bit younger, how it's going to basically, being an R-rated film, will kind of rally against exactly what we want, which is a release where people can enjoy this in the cinemas. So it was really to solve a problem of how do you cut out and work around the F words. And as filmmakers and as a film team, we were like, look, we don't want to do anything that's going to harm the film. Like, ultimately, the film first needs to work. And this new technology, it basically allowed us, rather than having to go to reshoot the movie, like go back up the mountain and build a tower and do all these things, it allowed me to go into basically an audio recording suite with the girls and actually record new lines of dialogue that kind of covered that, and then inject it into the film in a way that you can't tell. So it was making it seamlessly, kind of taking out bad words and replacing them with others, and the sentiment, the emotion, the performance, everything is still retained in there. And so 100% as it is, but it's never been used before in films, this technology. And I think there's the word deepfake actually is very misleading, because it's not that at all, but it's a new layer of kind of visual effects that isn't really out
Super
yet.
ADR is what it reminds me of, with bringing them into the booth, like next level ADR.
Next level ADR, and as a story, as a filmmaker, storyteller, I was able to kind of not have to cut the back of a head, right? Because it would have ruined the movie. So we all give ourselves a very kind of high bar of, we will only do this if the movie is not damaged, and in the end, you cannot tell. I'd say we didn't have to cut any of the movie down. We didn't have to cut it out. It's arguably more effective. And the thing is, I found on a personal level, my kids have never been able to watch one of my movies because they've always been a bit too hardcore, violent, or sweary. Oh, wow. This one, I was really driven by the fact that my kids would love this. They really wanted to see the movie, and they'd love the movie, but they couldn't see it because of the F-bombs. And it was silly to stop, for everything that the movie is and wanting to do, improvise F-bombs, and I didn't want them to ruin that opportunity for them to see it. So I had the pleasure of being able to show my kids the film this weekend, last week.
Very good. Very nice. I hope that they can contain their anxiety after
they were terrified, and I scarred them for life. That's the problem.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. And you have one of your main characters, or a very important character, that's right behind you there, actually. And I was be curious to talk about the vultures that you used for training them. Did you how were your animal trainers, and were they really up high? Was it anything studio, green screen? How did you meld all of that together?
Yeah, well, we didn't use any green screen in the movie. We did shoot it all high, so we're all doing everything at height.
That's crazy.
The vulture part was the hardest part, really, like, because obviously there is huge elements of animal wrangling, and in terms of like an entourage of folks that work around birds that work in Hollywood, and so, but it's difficult because animals don't really take screen direction too well, so it was always a case working around the bird rather than the bird working around us. But ultimately we pulled it together and pulled it off. It was very much a case of testing patience, as of like waiting for these things to go by. But I think we made the movie in a way where we've actually basically make it for real on location, as opposed to doing the green screen and the other way. And I think that's really helped the movie in terms of the way we did it. And it also meant we had a very nimble team that were on top at the height there. And it just meant that we were able to do things like wait around with a bird to make a movement, because it wasn't like you have 100 people waiting. It's just a very small team. So so those kind of played to an advantage to a lot of degrees.
Well, the film was extremely fun. It was a joyride, a roller coaster mixed with that. I thought it was very fun and an experience that everyone should check out. So I hope you can rush to the theaters to see Fall. Come in relaxed, leave anxious and terrified and shaky, but it's all good. It's a wonderful film. I definitely hope you enjoy it. And thank you, Scott Mann, for joining me today to talk about Fall.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Cheers, Alex. Thank you.